What's going on, guys? It's been a minute, I won't lie. So this is the first Sunday drive of the year, and my New Year's resolution is to make a Sunday drive for each Sunday. So I want to get a Sunday drive video out for you guys every single Sunday this entire year. That's my goal. I think it'll be good to have some consistency on the channel. I know I've been posting videos like really sporadic, and then like the last month I really haven't been posting that much. I took on a pretty big project. I will talk to you guys, I'll inform you guys, I'll update you guys on that later. There will be an update video for that and why I've sort of been absent a little bit. So aside from the collaborations I've been doing with Throttle, I got some other big things in the works. I think you guys are gonna like it. You might like it. You might like it. Maybe. So that update video will be coming out soon for you guys, and I'm going to start posting more regularly now. So we're sort of getting back in it. The end of the project is coming through, but I didn't really think the project was super interesting or super channel worthy, so I didn't really post it. I didn't really get that many good shots of it. It wasn't really, I don't know, I didn't think you guys would like it. I'll share it with you guys later. So today's topic is about parts. So parts for your E36, good places to get parts, things like that. So this is really nothing new, but the E36 for the last several years is kind of in this really weird spot. So they're basically at their like lowest market value right now. You can get one for like 2 or 3 grand for a non-M. You know, they're inexpensive cars to buy. And like 4 or 5 years ago when I first got into E36s, you saw like normal people driving them. Like they were, you know, like E46s now, you see a lot of just regular people driving E46s. You know, you see a bone stock white 325i E46, there's a good chance that it's just a regular person, not an enthusiast driving it, right? And several years ago, and it's sort of slowing down, the E36 was like that too. They're just normal cars, you know. They were always enthusiast cars, but normal people drove them, right? And now that's sort of becoming less the thing because they're old cars and they do break, and when you find out that it costs $1,500 to rebuild your cooling system on your $3,000 car, you know, to a normal person that might not really be worth it. You know, you're putting half what the car's worth into making it run properly. To a lot of normal people, that really isn't worth it, so they get a different car. Now to an enthusiast like you and I, a cooling system rebuild is really not that bad. You buy a radiator for 300 bucks, you buy new hoses for maybe 50 total, and $50 water pump, you're only spending 500 bucks on a full rebuild and you're good to go, right? So these people get new cars, and the E36s will either end up on the used market for an enthusiast like us to pick up for cheap, or they end up somewhere like Ecology, like a scrapyard or a pick-apart. And so a lot of the big parts that I'll buy like that are from scrapyards. For instance, the scrapyard down in Oceanside, LKQ pick-apart, last time I went there, they had 2 E39s, they had an E34, and they had 6 E36s. 6 of them. They just end up in these scrapyards, you know, and maybe it has a bad radiator, or maybe it got rear-ended or something. And so most of the time the parts on them are good, you know, and if you need something simple, that's like the best place to buy it. Grab a set of injectors, grab a sensor, grab whatever you need, you know what I mean? And so a lot of the bigger parts I'll pick up from places like that. For instance, when my Vanos unit went bad on the convertible, I was replacing the cam position sensor, and you gotta have to move the Vanos solenoid. So I went to take it off, and the Vanos unit, like, it ripped. So the solenoid came off of the Vanos unit, but it didn't unthread. It took the chunk of metal where the threads are off the Vanos unit. So I'm like, oh, great. So I had to go get a Vanos unit because you can't repair aluminum like that. And so I went down to Ecology, and this is another reason I love the USDM E36s. That'll be a full video on its own. But I went, and it was like 20 bucks for a full Vanos unit. And so the cylinder head on the convertible actually had a crack in it on cylinder number 3 between the intake and exhaust valve. So what did I do? I went down to Ecology, I pulled the cylinder head. It was 60 bucks. 60 bucks for a cylinder head. All I had to do was swap out the valve springs, put the trays and cams in. Perfect, right? After machine work, it was like 160 bucks for clean, good condition cylinder head. A lot of the more like specialty parts like that, like Vanos units, stuff like that, I will get from like Ecology. Like if I need a timing cover for some reason or something like that, an oil pan, I'll just run down there and grab it. Oftentimes they have plenty of E36s there, more than enough where I have like a selection of parts I can choose from. I got like 5 different Vanos units I can get, so I can pull them all off, inspect each one of them, and pick which one I need, you know what I mean? And so things you won't normally buy at like an auto parts store, like you wouldn't buy a Vanos unit at freaking like Turner Motorsport ECS Tuning because it's going to be a couple $100 and they're freaking expensive on there. And go pop down to Ecology, get one for super cheap, and you're freaking balling, dude. Aside from those, I like to run good parts on my car. So like a lot of the sensors that I'll buy, like the cam position and crank position, I will get directly from BMW. And yeah, it's a little bit of a hit on the wallet, but you know, you're getting OEM parts, you're getting the best parts for the car. So it works perfectly, and that's just the way I like to do it. I ran a eBay crank position sensor once, and it failed about 5 minutes into startup, which was really nice. I was actually really hyped. And you know, what do you really expect? So, and besides that, the rest of the parts I'll get from like ECS Tuning or Turner Motorsport or something like that. Like cylinder head gasket kits, crankcase gasket kits, all that good stuff. Aside from the OE sensors and the bigger parts like a cylinder head or a Vanos unit, I'll just get from ECS or Turner Motorsport. And that's just the way I like to do it. I really don't like to buy super cheap parts. I like good quality parts in my cars. Another good place to get parts is like local part outs. If you go on like Facebook groups or like throttle.com even, if you go on there, you can find some part outs, or you can find whatever parts you need. And oftentimes if someone's parting out a car and you need something like a manifold or like a valve cover, you can just head down there, strip the parts right off the car, and you're freaking balling. I really try and stray away from like AutoZone and Pep Boys sensors personally. I won't run them. And not saying that they're really bad quality parts, I just prefer to run OE parts, you know? Where do you guys like to buy parts from? I've never really run any critical engine sensors from like a Napa or Pep Boys, so let me know in the comments down below if you guys have and what success you've used it. Thank you guys so much for watching, keep it fresh, and I will see you next Sunday. They're in a spot. Fuck. I suck at YouTubing, man. I'm the worst fucking YouTuber there ever was. Best Tiltor though. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Get my heel toes back, dude. Fucking yeah. I lost them. I won't lie. I lost my heel toes. I lost them. Coming back with a vengeance. See that?